Yes, guys, what is good, everybody? Welcome back to L5 Star FC. It has been a long time no see. I'm obviously joined by you guys today for a Champions League show, and I'm joined by none other than Salah for this one. First and foremost, Salah, it's been a long time since we've been together on a stream. How are you doing, first and foremost, and how are you enjoying the Liverpool football that we're seeing at the moment?
Yeah, it has been a long time since we made a video, of course. Everyone's been busy and everything, but yeah, I think our form's going pretty good and happy with the way we're playing, and hopefully we can keep that up tomorrow night.
Hopefully we can keep that up. Yeah, exactly. Hit the nail on the head there. And obviously we've been dissecting and delving into a lot of football topics during this show. So strap your seatbelts in. Make sure you drop a like button and please get involved if you have any comments down in the chat. We'd love to hear your thoughts ahead of what is a massive game for Liverpool tomorrow night. But first and foremost, we're going to go off a little kickoff question. And that kickoff question is going to be based around the Champions League predictions for this upcoming week. Obviously, we see 4 games. Salah, PSG, Real Madrid, one of the standout games. Who is your money on for these 4 games? I'll just name a few out to the people who may not know. PSG, Real Madrid. Inter Milan welcome Liverpool at the San Siro. Sporting hold Manchester City. And RB Salzburg hold Bayern Munich in that game, that final game on Wednesday. So 4 games this week, 4 games next week, a week off, and then it'll go through the second leg. But how are you feeling ahead of the 4 games I've alluded to just now?
I think PSG Madrid, I'm going for a draw. I think it had the anticipation of being a good game, high-scoring game, but I think it's just one of those where it will be a draw. Manchester City Sporting, I see City absolutely bossing the park. I think City will win. And then Liverpool Inter Milan, I'm hoping we can come out with a win. Of course, you can't really say away advantage. The only way advantage now is home crowd for the home team, but what's it called? We know the away goals rule is now ditched, so that's that. And then there's another game this week, is there not? Liverpool Inter, and then
Liverpool, Inter, Sporting, Man City, RB Salzburg, and Bayern, and PSG.
RB Salzburg, Bayern. And Bayern, of course, just lost to a team which was 13th in the Bundesliga 4-2. So not coming off the best results, but I think Bayern are still good enough to beat Salzburg. But Salzburg have got a few dangerous players out of Adeyemi and Co.
Yeah, do you obviously you mentioned there the away goal rule that has been ditched. Just one question for you, Salah: is that a good thing for Liverpool having that away goal rule ditched? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? And why?
Personally, although when you do lose an away goals, it hurts you. But personally, I liked it. I think it brought a lot of entertainment to the plate. Okay, maybe game-wise for the players, and like I remember Simeone talked about it once, where like he was like in the game against us at Anfield, he was like, we had more time. Of course, the game went into extra time. He's like, we had more time than Liverpool to score an away goal, and I don't really think that's unfair. So again, it's 50-50, but in my opinion, I liked it because it just brought entertainment. Because we really never got into the dilemma of being an away goals or losing an away goals. If we lost, we would lose by 1 or 2 goals on aggregate. So I liked it because City went out on away goals.
Yeah, exactly. I think the away goal rule definitely played a factor in that entertainment. It was integral in that aspect of the game. And I think maintaining that integrity of the competition does make these games potentially less exciting. However, it is the Champions League. It's what we look forward to in February, specifically that return of the Champions League, and Liverpool host Inter Milan. But before we get into the Champions League show, which you're all looking forward to in here, a look back at Liverpool's performances. Obviously, it's been a long time coming since we've got together and did a video, so we're just going to get something up for you guys so we can just break down some of the performances. Obviously, as you may be aware, the last game that we did was Crystal Palace and Liverpool, and it's been quite a few games until then. So we'll go straight into the mixer. Obviously, 1 second, let me just... Is it up for you? Yeah, there it goes. Right, so we've got Cardiff City. So we had a big international break in which we've seen the AFCON, Mo Salah fall short to Sadio Mane's Senegal. But that was a significant day. Liverpool progressed into the 5th round of the FA Cup with a win against Cardiff City. Diogo Jota, Takumi Minamino and Harvey Elliott getting the goals. Ruben Colwill scored a late consolation for Cardiff. But this was a game in which brought a lot of attention to the Anfield crowd, Salah. How did you... Obviously, I was at the game, and it was very quiet, in particular for the first half. Second half, it did pick up, but the first half, it was very quiet. What did you make of that? Obviously, I'm assuming you watched it on television. What was it like? Was it quite noticeable that the Cardiff fans were more vocal? Mute, I think, broke mute.
Yeah, and I think I didn't really expect it. I mean, I expected it, to be honest, because this has been a recurring theme for many months now. It's not new that our atmosphere has been poor. I think you watch the games daily, you'd know there's been a drop off. The only times where I'd say our atmosphere has been the best this season is in the first Champions League game against AC Milan. Of course, Champions League night, so you have to have a good atmosphere. But especially in the league this season, like we talk about the Anfield man being a 12 factor. I haven't really felt that 12 factor, like sitting at home watching it from my TV. So I think the atmosphere in the Cardiff game was very poor. But again, I never really expected it. But I think the other game which we just played, I forgot who we played now.
Leicester, Burnley.
Yeah, Leicester. I think in Leicester there was a slight improvement, but still, like we can still do better than that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, obviously I was at the game, and obviously it was a very quiet experience. I don't know if that 12 o'clock early kickoff played a factor, but you got to look at the other side. I mean, Cardiff were producing a very large amount of noise in comparison to us, so can't have been the kickoff time. I don't know. I don't know if it was the FA Cup, but then again, you know, Jurgen Klopp started a stronger team in the FA Cup, and we've got to talk about Harvey Elliott. He got a very well taken goal, just like he hasn't been away, wasn't it, Salah, the way he took that goal? Obviously, how do you rank his importance to this Liverpool team, considering you know, he's been a player in which in some games that we've seen, you know, maybe we've got epoxy little draws. We needed a player like Harvey Elliott. How important do you think he is to our team to have him back?
I think it's a big boost for us, depth-wise. So like now we can have more options in midfield, and like the way Henderson's been playing of recent, I think you can just chuck Harvey Elliott into the mix and he'll do a great job. But again, he comes back from injury and scores his first domestic goal. So again, he's a bright kid. He's gonna have a top future. Just needs to keep it going, stay consistent, and yeah, he'll be a Liverpool legend.
Yeah, let's hope so. I mean, he's going in the right direction, that is for certain. So obviously we face Norwich in the next round of that competition, but focus turned back to the Premier League, and it was such a significant day in which Jurgen Klopp called for a special atmosphere at Anfield, kind of highlighting that deficiency with the atmosphere of recent. Liverpool played Leicester, and there was a bit more zip, wasn't there, Salah, as you alluded to there. 2-0 winners. Liverpool come out. Diogo Jota, how good is this guy? How good is this footballer? I mean, he's taken Liverpool to another level in terms of his clinical nature in front of goal.
Again, Glenn Hoddle said it perfectly. Like, a lot of people underestimate his ability, saying, "Oh, you just come here to just warm the bench a bit, just sit down, just whenever he gets a chance, he'll play." But he's really giving Jurgen Klopp problems now. The way he's playing, he's scoring nearly every game he plays. Like, when a person scores that much, you just can't afford to keep him out the team. Like, at the end of the day, let's be honest, it matters how many goals you score. Like, goals win games basically, and that's what Jota does. He scores. And like, it's hard for him. It's hard to take him out of the team. Maybe okay, his link up isn't as good as Firmino's, but his finishing is deadly. He is a very, very deadly finisher. And I'm sure a lot of you have seen that too, where some Wolves fans like, "Thank you, Liverpool, 41 million. We have absolutely fleeced you for Jota." I think we actually fleeced them, because we just turned him into an 80, 90 million pound player. He's such a good player.
He is a very, very good player, and it's about time, you know, he was given the credit that he's long overdue. I mean, he's been producing this level for 2 seasons now. Obviously, his second season at Liverpool, he was rinsing the net last season, got that injury around a crucial part of the season, and obviously never quite picked the limelight back up again. But we must talk about the more recent game. Burnley 0, Liverpool 1, a goal from Fabinho, 5 goals in 7 for him. Obviously another clean sheet. Liverpool are looking to get things defensively much better, and that is what we needed in this team. And although it obviously, it doesn't benefit the neutral as much, seeing Liverpool not in such an enthralling encounter with teams. But if Liverpool are winning, that's all we want as a fan base. And that's what we did at Turf Moor. I mean, Klopp labelled it, this was set out for a banana slip, he said. So obviously to come out 1-0 victors there in what was such a boring game, but still enthralling in certain moments. I mean, the end was quite mad and hectic. But how would you rank this style of play that Jurgen is re-implemented back? It's very reminiscent of 18-19 Liverpool when their defence was so solid, and that's how we went on to win the Champions League.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, bro. Yeah, I was just going on about Burnley 0, Liverpool 1. Obviously, we've seen Jurgen Klopp re-implement that defensive block to really, manage games in a proper way. Very reminiscent, I was saying, about 18-19 Liverpool when we went and won the Champions League. Obviously, it takes away that excitement from a neutral perspective, Liverpool being in such an enthralling encounter. Seeing Liverpool win like that is so professional. It does really show major signs and major credentials of a title-winning team. How would you rank this performance as well, compared to the games in which we've seen back and forth? The Tottenham game where we dropped points. The Manchester City game where we've dropped. They've equalised. Got moments like that where if we had this consistency and on this solid foundation, we could manage games in a much more efficient way. How do you rank this performance?
I think it was a good performance. Of course, we had some other chances that we could have scored, but I think in the first half, I don't know if it was the surfaces or what. First half was, although we got the goal, I think first half wasn't up to standard. I think we were losing the ball very badly. Like our passing was very sloppy. But again, in these type of games, all you need to do, if it's 1-0, if it's 2-1, if it's 3-2, all you need to do is just get
see it out
and move on to the next game. But I think when we come out for second half, I think we controlled the game very nicely. I think one of the most underrated performances was Naby Keita. I think ever since he's come back from AFCON, and even in AFCON, he played brilliantly. And I think now he's back, I think he's going to give Henderson a run for his money, especially Elliott. And that's what we like. We like competition, and that's what we've been begging out. Of course, we'll get on to the signing of Luis Diaz later, because I don't think we have done a video on that, particularly. Probably you have, Alid. I'm not sure. None of us have. So, of course, we'll get on to Luis Diaz later, but it's finally good. It feels good to have competition in the squad. But yeah, my outstanding performer was Naby Keita. But again, 1-0 victories, I don't care what it is, just get the 3 points. Come April, hopefully we beat C and United do a job for us.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, every game's been turned into a cup final. Jurgen Klopp has kind of accepted the fact that Liverpool can't play in this manner, in terms of conceding little goals to drop points in games which on the long scale and on the grand scale of things we just cannot do. And that is that obviously to re-implement that back into the system, I think is nothing but good. And obviously you mentioned there the likes of Harvey Elliott, the revolution of Naby Keita, who's really stepped up this season. If you really look at his performances, I think he does have competition, Henderson. But obviously, I've seen a lot of criticism on Jordan Henderson for that performance against Burnley on Sunday. Would you go as far as some of the criticism he was getting? Do you think some of it is valid? But are you frustrated? I mean, you've come out before in the past and been vocal about Jordan Henderson, some of his performances. Obviously, that performance there, do you think that performance warranted that type of criticism?
I think it was a better performance. Okay, I'm not going to say it's a very good performance, but I think it was a better performance than some of his performances before. Because some of the performances before, I've talked about how he tries to be Xavi Iniesta, and that's what he tried doing again early. And just think, he hit one good pass at the start of the game, and that's it really. Other than that, he was just slowing down the game and everything else. You saw against Leicester when he didn't play, how we were controlling the game, how we were moving, play fast. We didn't lose the ball as easily because of hoofballing. But at the end of the day, he's our captain, and we're gonna have to back him until the last minute, until he leaves the club. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I do think he'll come back and hit form. But I think he thrives when he's the underdog. He thrives like he doesn't have his attention come out of nowhere, and he just show the world like, have you forgot who I was? Have you forgot what I've done? And I think that's what Klopp needs to do now. Bench him for a few games, play Naby, play Elliott, play that Thiago, Elliott, Fabinho, midfield three. And then when Henderson's ready, or when you think he's ready, then play him. But let's see, because I think he wasn't training today for the game against Milan tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Henderson is going to have to up his ante for me. However, I feel a lot of the criticism he was getting was invalid. I feel like when people were trying to correct his positioning, I feel that people were in the wrong place to do that, considering Trent Alexander Arnold and Mo Salah like to play that inverted role. We've seen Trent try.
I think in terms of his positioning, I think the reason a lot of us fans complain is because he goes too forward. Like, he thrives and he plays good when he just covers for Trent. But when he tries to go forward and plays those passes like he thinks he's Xavi, then I think that's when a lot of us fans get annoyed.
Yeah, I seen a lot of abuse, and it was to the fact he was playing right back, which I didn't quite understand, because I feel like if people want to see Trent in a more advanced role, which is the opposite of how he was playing on Sunday, then you have an open right-hand side, which opens up the opportunity that you're going to concede goals. And obviously, we all get a little bit frustrated sometimes. His pass accuracy wasn't quite there. But I think I've seen a lot of the people abusing Jordan Henderson on Twitter at halftime for the fact that he was playing at right back. And he was like, well, if Trent and Mo Salah are going to play the inverted runs, who's going to occupy that right-hand side? So that was where my beef was at. But I think at the same time, I think Jordan Henderson does have areas in his game which he needs to correct. And I think this probably is the beginning of the end, in the sense of Jordan Henderson's going to be utilised in a different way. That's why we've seen Harvey Elliott being utilised as part of a midfield three as well, pushing Henderson sort of out of that number 8 role, limiting his game time. This is all part of the long-term process. I'm pretty sure about that. But smash a like, guys, and subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button, as L5StarFC goes on to say, and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So, guys, let us get on with some of, obviously, Liverpool. We must go into the Champions League. I want to give you guys an insight into what we can expect as Liverpool fans. This is what you come up for on this show, guys. So everything you need to know ahead of Inter Milan against Liverpool. So let me just get up a screen. But how are you feeling, Salah, for this game? I mean, Inter Milan, another trip to the San Siro. We've got good memories there, haven't we?
Yeah, I think San Siro is one of the best football stadiums in the world. But before we versed into AC Milan, this is Inter Milan. Although AC Milan have been good this season, but I think Inter Milan have been a solid side, a very underrated side. Because a lot of people thought they lost Lukaku, they lost Hakimi, and the financial problems were tatters in Milan. But what Inzaghi has done to keep Milan where they are and build on from the Kante era, like signing Xhaka, signing Dumfries, I think it's great, honestly. But a lot of people underestimating Inter. I think it's going to be a very, very tough game tomorrow. We just need to be on top of our game, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. And I just want to give you a little bit of background knowledge ahead of that trip to Inter Milan. But let's have a look at Inter Milan. Well, the XG, their best is 47.5, and that is Dzeko. He's a key player for them. He's a metronome in their attack. Obviously, we know that Barea is suspended for both these games, but Inter Milan occupied that 4-3-1-2 formation, and that needs to utilise Dzeko and Lautaro Martinez from the wide channels. Now, obviously, Inter Milan, they played second had second in Group D. But let's go over a preview. So the first time in a decade, Inter Milan will be competing in the knockout rounds of the Champions League. So they're obviously going as a country through a moment in which Italian football is going through a change. They progressed to the latter stage of the competition. Simone Inzaghi's side finished second in Group D with 10 points from the 6 matches, 5 points behind group winners Real Madrid. Now, since the 2003-4 campaign, Inter Milan have been eliminated from 2 of their previous 3 two-legged knockout ties against English opposition. All 3 of these have been in the last 16, suffering defeat against Liverpool, Manchester United and Chelsea in 3 successive seasons. So, Inter Milan will face another tough challenge on Wednesday, and especially in a moment in which Liverpool are regaining a lot of depth. Now, this is their Champions League form. So, Inter Milan have only registered 3 wins out of their last 6 games in the Champions League. As you can see, squeaky clean on the bottom. 6 wins out of 6 in the Champions League. 6 wins out of 6 in all competitions as well. So, it's all looking squeaky clean. Liverpool are clearly the favourites, but this is a bit of team news. So, Inter Milan will be without Joaquin Correa, and Robin Gosens as they continue to recover from thigh injuries. As I said before, Nicolo Barella is suspended following his dismissal against Real Madrid. Now, in addition to this, Alexander Kolarov is ineligible to play after being removed from the Champions League squad, allowing the signings Gosens and Caicedo to be included. Stefano Sensi is the only player removed after joining Sampdoria on loan last month. Now, centre-back Bastoni is currently serving a domestic suspension, but he's available to play midweek. Steven De Vrij, Milan Skriniar and Federico Di Marco on the left side of a back 3 is obviously the way they're going to set up, really. Edin Dzeko, as I mentioned, is going to be the forward line. But this is Inter Milan's possible starting lineup. So, Salah, rather. I want to ask you about this team. Handanovic, Skriniar, De Vrij, Bastoni, Dumfries, Vidal, Brozovic, Kalanoglu, Perisic, Martinez and Edin Dzeko. That's a very good team. How do you fancy their chances against Liverpool? Do you think that Liverpool's solidarity in defence will be able to be enough to hold out this very strong team?
I think, again, I said it, do not underestimate AC Milan, but you look at Liverpool and I think something came out on the bookies the other day. And I know the bookies are bullshit because all they do every time is because literally every single season they say 50% odds on Manchester City to win it. And that's what the bookies are saying this year again. 50% on Manchester City to win it. And I don't know what percent on Liverpool to win it, but we were second. I think it's just in Inter Milan's fate that they've had to play us. Because I think if Inter Milan play any other team, like say, I think they beat, I don't know, like say a team that's not world class but it's class, like a Manchester United. They beat a Manchester United to go through, but it was in their fate. They have us, and they're gonna have to play us. But I fully expect us to win this game because we are stronger than Inter Milan. Sorry, although they have a very good team, but we've been on a roll. We're still unbeaten in the Champions League. Like the last time a team was unbeaten in the group stages, I think it was Bayern. They went on to win the whole competition unbeaten. So I don't know. Let's see. I think it's a winnable game, but as I say, never underestimate any team that has got to the round of 16 in the Champions League because they are a good team. Any team that are in the knockout stages, they are there for a reason. They are a good team and they'll give you a good challenge.
A very, very good point there mentioned by Salah. Obviously, broke it down exceptionally well. But Liverpool's possible starting lineup, however, Alisson, Alexander Arnold, Matip, Van Dijk, Robertson, Henderson, Fabinho, and Thiago, Salah, Jota, Mane. Now, Salah, would you go with a more direct front 3? Obviously, your predictions now. Would you go for a more direct front 3 more specifically? Would you start the tried and tested Salah, Firmino, Mane? So Firmino can cut in between the lines because what we see with an Italian team, which are located in a league like the Serie A, which is notoriously known for, defend. It's not the most technical league. It's more a physical league, quite difficult to break down. Do you think Firmino would be perfect for this game, considering his flexibility to move into areas behind, in between the lines? How do you think that this front 3 could operate?
I think Firmino's North-West link-up play is good. Against Burnley, wasn't that good. Again, maybe, as I said before, the conditions weren't that good. Passes were overhit, and they went out of play and all that. But I think you said it right. I think this is the type of game Firmino thrives on. But if there's one change I make in that lineup, although Mane is coming off a very good AFCON, he played okay against Burnley. Like, I'm not going to say he played
I agree.
awful, and I'm not going to say he played great, but he had a very average game against Burnley. And I think it's only right we give a Liverpool Champions League debut to Luis Diaz. You saw what he did against AC Milan. Although he wasn't Inter Milan, you saw what he did against AC Milan in group stages. He had them on lock. So I think it makes sense to start Luis Diaz. And I think Mane does deserve a rest. Like, he played nearly all the games in AFCON, and then he started Burnley, which was also very shocking. Not very shocking, but also was a shock to me. But for me, Alisson, Trent, Van Dijk, Matip, Robertson, normal back four that's expect. And then the CDM for Fabinho. Right centre mid, I would go Harvey Elliott. Left centre mid, Thiago Alcantara. And the front three, Luis Diaz, Firmino, and Salah.
There you go. There's Salah's starting 11 for that trip. For me, I'd go Alisson. I'd start... I don't know. I personally, for me, I would start Ibu Konate for this game, just because I want to kind of manage Matip's minutes. I feel he's played a lot of football this season. Manage his minutes ahead of that Carabao Cup, final, which we've got less than 2 weeks away. However, knowing Jurgen Klopp and knowing what he likes to do, he will like to put. He doesn't often change much when it's going well. And that's why I feel Matip will start a lot alongside Van Dijk. Trent Alexander Arnold, Robbo in the middle of the park. I'm going to go for, I don't know why, but my sixth sense, it's not necessarily what I want to see, but something is telling me that Ox is going to come into this game some way, shape or form. Would that be a fair assessment? Do you think?
No, he's on the bench. He's on the bench.
Do you think that? I think if Ox doesn't play a part in this game, considering he has stepped up to a certain degree, do you think it's, when else will he get his minutes? And he's performed particularly well in the group stage. I remember he had 2 significant performances against Atletico. Porto as well. He's played well in the group stages. Would it be, a disjustice to him if Klopp was maybe not starting, but not playing him at all in this game?
I don't think he will start in this game. Again, I think he hasn't played in a while.
Yeah. That will play a factor, I'm sure.
Maybe because the birth of his son or daughter, he's maybe asked Klopp to lower his minutes so he can manage in time. But I think not Inter Milan. I think if he starts a game, it's Norwich and Leeds in the double game week. I don't really expect Oxley Chamberlain. I get where you're coming from. Just in your gut feeling, you have it down somewhere that Ox will start. There will be a
I don't know. It's just a gut feeling.
Milner, Henderson, Ox. I think that's what you're feeling, like an underdog type of Milner, Henderson, or Ox. But I don't think that will happen because I think if Klopp's gonna play any weak players, or if he's gonna play strong player and then 1 or 2 weak players, he has one of the 2 worst teams coming up. I mean, 2 of the 2 worst teams in the league coming up. In Norwich and Leeds, no offense to the respective fans. But I think if that's where you want to start the players that aren't getting minutes, that's the game you start them. You don't start them in a round of 16 Champions League knockout.
Yeah. I think that's a perfect point. I think maybe he features in this game some way, shape or form. Maybe if that's to, get a goal. Because at the end of the day, Inter Milan, obviously you mentioned that they're, not having that away goals. They will be forced to maybe play this game a lot more open. Because they won't have that fear if Liverpool score that it'd be as integral, that it'd be so detrimental to the overall outcome of that last 16 game. So I think this may be a game where we see Ox come in off the bench and have a little cameo performance. But if I was to go off my starting 11, I'd go for Fabinho, Thiago, and I give Henderson another opportunity. But I think if Henderson has an iffy performance again, I'd expect him to be dropped on Saturday. I'm just going to go off who I think will start, and that's why I go for Henderson. And then I'm going to go for the tried and tested Salah, Firmino, Mane. No discredit to Jota, no discredit to Diaz. I just feel that for Firmino's impact coming in between the lines, I just feel like he could offer a little bit more diversity going forward. However, I want to see Diogo Jota play, because you've mentioned it before. He's in a form right now. It's a travesty that he's not playing, because if you're going to bench a player that's in this form, significant, form, then who's to the benefit really in that situation, because he's contributing to the team. He's good on confidence. In terms of confidence, he's producing consistently. He has no benefit to anyone really if we're going to bench him. But that's what I think will start. I think Firmino will come into this game. But how many trophies will we win, Salah? Obviously, it's been a question that's been asked a lot over the past few weeks. Considering Liverpool's depth, and considering it's the first time we've challenged on all fronts for a significant period of time, how many trophies will we win? Are some of the fan base getting a little bit carried away with this whole situation?
I wouldn't say carried away. I think maybe some are, maybe some aren't, but I think it's really an achievement to see that. I think this is the first time in the top 10 that we've been in all competitions halfway through the season, which is quite a surprise. Normally he doesn't take Carabao Cup serious or FA Cup serious. So again, quadruple is on, maybe treble is on, but shouldn't get too carried away just yet, but never say never.
Yeah, never say never.
I think I think we will win 2. I think we win the Carabao Cup and we win the Champions League.
Shut up. I think, to be fair, I think we win. I think 2 is definitely a very good season. I think 1 is a particularly good season, but I think for the moment that Jurgen Klopp has with his players, they're a very good age now, where I think 2 is a very good number. However, I think we can go 3, but if I was to put money on it, a large amount of money on it, I would go more on. I would lean more towards 3 than to 4, just because I feel the league, as much as it's still on, I feel that we do have to win every single game, which isn't without the realms of possibility. But when Man City are in this kind of form, it is always difficult to kind of really rely on them dropping points and other teams doing us a favour. But score predictions for this game before we go into a little bit more statistical analysis before we finish.
Score predictions, 2-1. 2-1
Liverpool. 2-1. I am going to go for a 2-0 Liverpool win. So obviously the Sportmole have predicted this. They say Inter Milan 1, Liverpool 2. While Liverpool will be the favourites to win on Wednesday, Inter will also fancy their chances of securing a first leg advantage in front of their home supporters. The Reds have conceded in each of their last 4 Champions League away matches, so that is a factor to consider. But they should have enough quality in the final third to outscore their opponents and return to Anfield with a slender lead. Now, obviously, we've talked a lot about, obviously that whole that professional nature in which Liverpool are winning games at this current moment in time. But I just want to look at the XG compared to the 21-22 season, which we're currently in now, and the 19-20 season where we won the league. So obviously, as you can see now, let me know. I think it's up there for you guys to see. So obviously, this is the XG. So you can see from open play, Liverpool are getting 62.03 XG. That is it. This is 1920. But I'm comparing this season to the year that we won the league.
Okay.
To remind people of where Liverpool are at this moment in time and whether they can have enough confidence to challenge on all fronts. So 62.03, 33.17 is the goals against. When you actually compare this to the season that we are in currently, Liverpool, I know it's not on your screen now, but I'll just keep the 19-20. Liverpool are only on 17.9, which is significantly lower. So they've eradicated conceding from open play. But in terms of corners and set pieces, You know, as you can see there, 2.03 from a set piece, 4.84 conceding goals there. And I'm only talking really about the goals that we're conceding because it goes back to that famous saying, you know, you can see you score goals, win games, defenses win titles. That is a significant factor we've got to take into account here. And in this game, from corners and set pieces, both are at a very good level in comparison to the league season. So Liverpool are faring off defensively better. In terms of going forward, it's about the same, apart from the fact that Liverpool this season are getting XG of 46.21, whereas in this one they're getting 62.03. So not necessarily are we winning games more comfortably. You know, we're defending a lot better during this moment in the season, which I think is a significant factor to play. But Salah, obviously, XG plays, you know, we can all look at stats every day, but does this Liverpool team have enough based off what we've seen so far over the last few months? Do you think Liverpool can put forward a consistent run of games to win silverware this season? Now, if you're talking from my point of view, I still think we have enough to contend on all fronts. I think Liverpool are in a moment right now, like I've alluded to previous, that if they can maintain the number of players they have at their disposal with the quality that Jurgen Klopp has to choose from, this only culminates to form an argument that Liverpool can go all the way on all fronts, all four fronts in all competitions. I think it's very exciting. It's an optimistic period as a Liverpool fan because we're looking at this thinking, wow, we're in with a big shout here. And obviously other teams can look at us and think, well, like Manchester City, well, we're still on for a treble, you're on for a quadruple. Who are you to say that you win all four and we win none? But at the same time, Liverpool are currently in a moment, I think, is the main optimism that Liverpool are getting currently is the fact that we have literally all our players at our disposal, which we haven't had across the period in which Manchester City have been dominant. But Salah, the question I want to ask you is, how confident are you, based off the performances that we've seen over the past month or two for Liverpool, that they can put in a consistent run of games from here till the end of the season, based off the stats?
I think I'm confident because I think our last loss was against Leicester, which was in like December-ish. And it's been like, I don't know how many games, but it's been like 12 games. And I think we've had a good run. I think our set pieces have been dangerous. We've scored the most set pieces in the league. And I think we just need to be consistent. We can't afford to have silly draws or drop silly points. Because you know how Manchester City are like. So we just need to keep on being consistent and not just drop silly points, as I said.
Yeah, exactly. I think all we want to see is eradicating that, proxy factor to try and maintain that success over a sustained period of time. I think if we manage to do that, we're on for a very successful season. But Salah, that is the end of the show. Thank you very much for everybody who has participated from start to finish in terms of contributing. Watch the video from start to finish as well. Obviously, I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy, please make sure you smash that like. And if you are here for the first time, please make sure you drop that subscribe button. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. We will look to continue the consistent content over the next few weeks to try and build up to the Carabao Cup final, which is the next significant game for Liverpool. But guys, everybody take care. We'll just go through LFC fans' comments. Big up to LFC fan, regular on my channel. We win 7 trophies in a year, including the league, FA Cup, Carabao Cup, UCL, Super Cup, Club World Cup, and Community Shield. There we go. That's the confidence we need, boys. That is the confidence. But guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you all for watching. And that is the energy that we need to finish on. Come on, Liverpool. Champions League is no better night. Come on.
Take it.